Welcome to the Cox Inspirational Student Heroes Award Celebration. You're going to meet some outstanding local students who have overcome great challenges in their lives to achieve greater success in the classroom. Get ready to meet this year's Cox Inspirational Student Heroes.
Thank you for being here today, and welcome to the 2016 Cox Inspirational Student Hero Awards. My name is David Delleman. I'm Market Vice President for Cox Communications here on the Gulf Coast Market, and we're so glad you're here with us this afternoon to help celebrate the wonderful accomplishments of these 49 students today. The Cox Inspirational Student Hero Awards started more than 2 decades ago in our New Orleans, Louisiana market, and we now recognize heroes in several markets across the Southeast U.S. To date, Cox has recognized more than 3,500 student heroes all the way from Lafayette, Louisiana to Macon, Georgia. We're honored to recognize these students today. They've overcome incredible obstacles in their lives to be recognized by their schools and their peers as student heroes. While their challenges may differ, all of them have one thing in common. They're truly inspirational, and we're humbled by their drive to succeed. At this time, I'd like to turn our program over to Cam Johnson from Cox's Government and Public Affairs team.
Thank you, David. Another terrific supporter of the Cox Inspirational Student Hero Awards is, of course, the Escambia County School District and the schools themselves. I'd like to welcome today School Board Member Patty Hightower, Jeff Bergosh, Gerald Boone, and Bill Slayton. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I'd also like to welcome Mr. Norm Ross. He is the Deputy Superintendent, and I'd like to invite him to the podium to come say a few words, please. Thank you. Mr. Ross.
Good afternoon. Wow, what a scenery we are afforded today from this position at the podium. Thank you so much. First, to our parents, thank you so much for entrusting your most prized possession, your children, into our care. It is so important that we have the support of the family in the educational process. Thank you to Cox. Wow, what an infusion, not only here in Escambia County, but in this entire region. Thank you so much for what you do for boys and girls each and every day. Our board members are here, and as you can see, 4 of the 5, which makes it a major majority, are here in support of our students. Again, Chairman Slayton, Vice Chairman Hightower, thank you so much for what you do in the policy side of the house each and every day. To our principals, teachers, administrators who are here today, thank you for your energy and your efforts each and every day, not only to the heroes who are going to be recognized today, but to all of your children each and every day. To our parents, again, thank you for what you do for supporting public education. And lastly, the heroes. Today you're going to be afforded the opportunity to hear some very interesting and energized information on students. But I would like for you to leave here today, students, with that one motto. As my good friend Jim Valvano caged this years ago, it simply says, don't give up, don't ever give up. Never allow any obstacle or any person to change your dreams. So on behalf of the superintendent in his absence, our entire executive staff, to our heroes, thank you for what you bring to public education each and every day.
I'd also like to thank the University of West Florida for letting us host this great event here. The UWF staff has been fantastic, and I appreciate their help. And I'd also like to welcome Ms. Vonne Calwin. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She is here representing President Bentz. Thank you so much for being here today. So let's get started. Our first hero is Felix Schmitz. He will be presented by Bonnie Ard from A.K. Suter Elementary School.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be up here. I'd like to present you Felix Schmidt. He is an inspiration to all of us at A.K. Suter Elementary. No matter how small the job is, Felix is always determined to get the job done, and he has overcome many obstacles in his lifetime. Being born at only 29 weeks, weighing 1.5 pounds, Felix overcame a lot of obstacles. He was sent home at 7.5 weeks, weighing only 3.5 pounds, which is, when I say only, most preemies have to stay the whole time of their when they're supposed to be born, and they have to weigh 5.5 pounds. So Felix has overcome lots of obstacles. He is involved and excels in numerous extracurricular activities. He's played soccer with the YMCA. He is currently in the first tee of Northwest Florida Golf Life Skills. He is a Cub Scout in Pac 99, and he is currently in an upcoming role in a movie being filmed locally here in Pensacola. So he has a real passion. So he is determined. Because Felix has had challenges in learning and completing tasks, when he learns and overcomes them, he is eager to share them with others in order to help them achieve their own goals and reach a joyful sense of accomplishments without expecting anything in return. So I'd like to present to you Alex Schmidt.
Bailey Middle School's Deirdre Hall will now introduce us to their hero.
Good afternoon. I'd like to present to you Miss Alana Brown. Alana has a beautiful spirit. Serious family issues have caused great disruption to her life and schoolwork. She has had to move often and sometimes to be in the care of those she does not know very well. But Alana has maintained a cheerful and optimistic attitude despite having to overcome many barriers that might overwhelm a less driven and enthusiastic student. Alana is an honor roll student. She has made great strides in learning to advocate for herself when circumstances beyond her control make it difficult for her to complete her schoolwork or even to get to school. She has always asked teachers to assist her in keeping up with her work and has maintained an excellent academic record. Alana has overcome barriers which unfortunately have been due to poor decision making by others in her life. These events will be daunting to any student, but Alana has chosen to rise above the challenges that life has presented her and to do her best to continue toward attaining her dream of going to college. Alana is a cheerleader for her peers. By example, she lets her fellow students know that despite of their circumstances, that hard work and a positive attitude can allow anyone to attain their goals. She cheerfully reminds all she sees that you can do it. Alana Brown.
Hero Molly Allen will be presented by Brandy Gentry of Bellevue Elementary School.
Good afternoon. Today it is my pleasure to introduce to you Molly Allen. Molly is a first grader at Bellevue Elementary. I first met Molly when she was a kindergartner. Little did I know at the time she was battling a life-threatening illness. As a toddler, Molly was diagnosed with cancer, specifically LCH, which is a rare disease involving clonal proliferation of abnormal cells deriving from bone marrow and capable of migrating from skin to lymph nodes. She has underwent regular blood testing, the installation of a port, and chemotherapy treatments. Due to illness and required treatments, Molly has had to miss many days of school. She has managed to keep up with her class. Despite any side effects from chemotherapy, Molly displays strong academic skills. She's working on grade level in all subject areas, enjoys taking accelerated reading quizzes, and has maintained honor roll status with grades of A's and B's each 9 weeks. Her accomplishments thus far and positive attitude have been strongly influenced by her family, who has shown her tremendous support every step of the way. They have been an essential part of helping Molly learn that she cannot always do what everyone else gets to do, in which Molly has done with grace and understanding. Many of you may have expected for me to tell you that Molly is angry with the world and finds it unfair that she's had to undergo all the treatments and miss out on things that other children were experiencing, but I'm not. Instead, Molly's attitude has remained upbeat and positive. She rarely has a bad day and is optimistically cheerful. Molly is a happy-go-lucky first grader. She loves taking care of animals and others. She's friendly, has a kind, gentle spirit. She has an excitement for life. She truly cares about everyone and everything and does not hesitate to show it. Even on her toughest days, she manages to keep smiling. I personally have never seen Molly in the hallway or at school where she is not smiling, laughing, or dancing. We dance after breakfast in the mornings. Battling LCH has made Molly a very strong and compassionate little girl. When asked about Molly, her teacher, Ms. Kivlin, said, "Molly has great empathy when others get hurt or sick and genuinely wants to help them. She's a very special little girl to all whom encounter her, but I don't expect you to take my word for it, so instead, I want you to take the word from her classmates. Molly is kind, good, talented, smart, nice, and cares for others." Today, last year she had her last chemotherapy treatment, and she was celebrated with her class in the classroom with her teacher. They celebrated that day. Today we continue to celebrate that Molly is currently in remission and cancer-free, and we're proud to have Molly as a Bellevue Eagle. But before you clap, real quick, she has a special message. She promised me she wouldn't be too shy. No. You'll do it? Okay. She did get a little shy. You guys are kind of scary. She wanted to say thank you to her mom and dad for always being there for her and supporting her. That's okay. You did good.
Our next hero is Enid Fernandez Rios, of Bellevue Middle, and she will be accompanied by Malia Adams.
The most interesting people you'll find are the ones that don't fit into average cardboard boxes because they fit into their own boxes. Enid Fernandez Rios has learned to do just that, make her own box, not only to fit into, but to exceed beyond any boxes. Her math teacher, Mrs. Van Fleet, states that she is a student a teacher dreams to have in their classroom. She came to Bellevue Middle School at the beginning of the school year, new to the state and new to all of her surroundings. Enid has worked so hard to bring up her grades in subjects that she struggled in the past to where she has made the all-A honor roll during the second 9-week grading period. She is always positive and so caring about her peers. A once withdrawn young lady who did not utter 2 words is now comfortable tutoring other students who need help in math, especially our ESOL students, where you will find her translating and making new friends. She's a positive role model, not only for her team, but for our school. Enid's desires to work for the Disney Company in the graphic arts field. Congratulations to Enid. And that, Enid, I believe you will achieve. Congratulations.
Presenting our next hero, Annalisa Pusateri of Beulah Elementary, is her teacher, Denise Williamson.
Annalisa is an excellent role model for all of her classmates and others who know her. She almost always has a smile on her face and is eager to learn and help others. She is well liked by her classmates and teachers. If it wasn't visible, nobody would know that she has anything going on. That came out wrong. If she has an issue, that's even worse. Annalisa, she always has a positive outlook about anything in school. She never complains. She encourages others when they need it. She tutors in there when they need help. She absorbs knowledge like a sponge. She's maintained A honor roll all year this year. She's a wildcat watcher. She monitors students in the hallways, ensuring their safety early in the mornings. She enjoys gymnastics and competes without hesitation. She has a great amount of self-confidence despite her medical condition. She doesn't let her slow her down or keep her from anything she wants to pursue. She has a rare medical condition called alopecia areata. It is an incurable autoimmune skin disease that results in the loss of hair on the scalp and elsewhere. It usually starts with 1 or more small round patches and sometimes progresses to total hair loss. This is what Annalisa has. Over 6.5 million people in the USA are affected by this disease. As a result, she has a variety of beautiful hats that she wears. I never know which one she will walk in wearing. The students don't make a big deal of this at all. She's treated just like every other child in the school. Annalisa appears to be comfortable with her condition. There have been times that we have played kickball, we come back inside, she's got the hat off, she's hot, she's cooling herself down. Doesn't bother her a bit. I'm amazed at her ability to be so sure of herself and not let this disease keep her from doing what she wants to do. Since this was submitted about a month ago, she was diagnosed with diabetes mellitus type 1, which has been a big ordeal for her and her family to work with, and she has been a trooper. And she is truly an inspiration to our classroom and our school.
Now, Donna McKay, teacher at Blue Angels Elementary, will present our next hero, Dominic LaRocca, and I believe a special guest, Vincent.
Our twin brother, Vincent. This is Dominic, and he is a kindergarten hero at Blue Angels Elementary. While dealing with the newness of starting kindergarten, he was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in September. Dominic continues to smile and have a positive attitude despite treatments, procedures, doctor's appointments, and hospital visits. He has continued to complete his schoolwork and visits the classroom when his health allows. Even though he is unable to go to school with his twin brother every day, he takes part in classroom lessons via webcam. His monkey in the chair, Ollie, a stuffed monkey, holds his seat in the classroom until he is able to come to school. Dominic has maintained all satisfactory grades all 9 weeks and has passed the kindergarten assessment and will be going to first grade next year. Dominic inspires his peers by sharing his personal challenge, not in words, but in actions. He continues involvement with his classmates, although he is going through medical treatments and physical and psychological challenges. He is a great example to his peers to never give up despite obstacles you face. What an impact Dominic has courage is having on his classmates. They will long remember Dominic the Dominator. And remember, they too can dominate any problem that may come their way. Dominic, I'm gonna cry. You are a Cox hero, and you will always be my hero.
Our next hero is James Grunwald of Bratt Elementary. He is joined by Kathy Smith.
Your program says James, but we know him as Jamie at our school. Jamie is an inspirational young man who keeps a positive attitude despite his disability. He has a bone condition that has a very long name that he refers to as OI, which causes his bones to be very brittle. This keeps him in a wheelchair for most of the day, which I see that he has ditched this afternoon. But despite that, he participates in every activity that is physically possible for him, just like every other student. Jamie loves working in groups, and he is well liked by his peers. Outside of school, he participates in 4-H, and for the past 2 years has shown cows at the Pensacola Interstate Fair. Jamie is also a member of the Boy Scouts and participates in camping trips. He has a can-do attitude and does not see his disability as a barrier to enjoying life. Although he has experienced a great number of surgeries because of broken bones, which I think whenever we met at the beginning of the school, he told me at 70 broken bones, he quit counting. He is always ready to return to school and do his best. Jamie is daily surrounded by his friends who truly care about not only his physical well-being, but they also truly enjoy his great friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bratt Elementary's inspirational hero, Jamie Grunwald.
And presenting Brentwood Elementary's heroes, Aquai Bell, is Donna Connor and Yvonne Hurd.
You know, one of the greatest things about being a teacher is having the opportunity to present something like this. Today, Zyquay came to me and he said, Ms. Connor, I'm not a hero. And I said, oh, Zyquay, you are a hero. So I want to share with you and with Zyquay what a great hero he is. Zyquay is a kind and caring young man. He has overcome great family loss in his life, and yet he still wears a smile. He has a unique way of making you feel special when he slips his hand in yours and says, I want to walk with you. He loves to help and has a great sense of humor. If he thinks you're having a bad day, he walks up with that smile on his face, puts his hand on your shoulder and says, how you doing? Suddenly, everything's just better. He seems to enjoy school even though he works very, very hard for his grades. He is well liked by his peers because he's always friendly and helpful. He loves sports and is a very good athlete, whether he's winning or losing. He came to Brentwood in 2nd grade and has been there for 5 years. When he arrived at our school, he was angry, defiant, and struggled academically. He had an expressive language delay as well. Now, Zyquay has transformed over the last 5 years.
He was scared, and so were we. So we came up and did that we would have to be together to do this for him. So he's now putting forth effort in the classroom. He was very proud when he was dismissed from speech. He went from having difficulty with communication skills to being an outstanding Wheel of Fortune star in speech class. Behaviorally, Zyquay has gone from being a student who had to be removed from class for disruption to being a role model and a joy to teach. After losing his parents at a very young age due to violence, he went to live with his grandmother, who passed away shortly after he arrived. His aunt then adopted him and has helped him become a wonderful, well-adjusted young man. Because of everything Zyquay has been through, he is very intuitive to people who seem to be sad. Age doesn't seem to matter to him. Whether you're a child or an adult, he always wants to cheer you up. It's our pleasure to present Zyquay Bell, Brentwood Elementary's Inspirational Hero.
Brown Barge Middle School's Lala Pierce will introduce us to their 2016 hero.
Fahed is an 8th grader at Brown Barge Middle School who came to Brown Barge in the middle of his 7th grade year. Initially shy and withdrawn, Fahed has become a leader in classrooms, and his perspective is inspiring to his classmates and teachers. Fahed exemplifies qualities of a hardworking and kind student. He strives for academic excellence in all areas and looks for ways to add that above and beyond step to his work. He is respectful to teachers and classmates and is someone we can count on to help others if they're confused or in need of assistance. However, this doesn't mean it has come easy to him. At the end of 5th grade, Fahed's family returned to Jordan, where they ended up staying for approximately a year and a half. Upon their return to Pensacola, Fahed found himself thrust in the middle of middle school, learning to adjust to project-based learning and a cultural difference, that he wasn't used to from elementary school to middle school is kind of a sudden change. At home, Arabic is used fully, while of course at school, English is used. Fahed functions somewhat as his own translator. He wants to be sure that his words keep their intended meaning. He's found the use of dictionaries to be somewhat frustrating because there are words he doesn't understand. So he will look up words, ask his mother to translate the Arabic into the Arabic meaning for him so that then he can understand the full English meaning. And all of this is done without complaint and, as I said, with just going above and beyond, putting attention to detail in his written work, in the visual work he presents, and in everything he does. It is my pleasure to present to you Fahed Abu Mohammed as Brown Barge's Cox hero.
Our next hero is Caden Odom of Burnville Elementary. He will be presented by Principal D. Wolf Sullivan.
Caden Odom has been selected to represent Burnville Elementary Charter School as our Cox Inspirational Hero. A few years ago, Caden's family suffered a house fire that resulted in a terrible great loss. Through it all, Caden still remained positive and outgoing. He never let on that he had experienced such a challenging time. Also this year, he had to watch his family and close friends go through a catastrophic loss due to the February tornado that ravaged Century. His best friend, who is also his cousin, was in the house when it was destroyed. He was able to share his own experience of going through something so destructive a few years earlier. On top of all this, Caden also got diagnosed with mononucleosis. This illness can be quite debilitating. However, Caden still continued to come to school, work hard, help others, support his teammates in extracurricular sports, when it was a struggle for him to even get out of bed. He has continuously shown what it is like to make the best out of a difficult situation. He has shown what true perseverance really is to the rest of us. Caden has a wonderful outlook on everything. He's optimistic to the core. He always looks at things as an opportunity to learn and grow. He meets challenges head-on and doesn't back down or shy away from things that most people would crumble from. He is a leader among his peers, and this is not something he takes lightly. And I, as a principal, this is when I get very jealous of my teachers because I'm not teaching children like this. But my wonderful teachers are, and we have wonderful students. So for this reason and many, many more, we are proud to have Caden Odom represent us as our Cox hero.
Presenting our next hero, Carolyn Hendricks, is Miss Dewberry from Cordova Park Elementary School.
This is Carolyn Hendricks. She is 7 years old and in my first grade class at Cordova Park Elementary. At the very young age of just 4, Carolyn was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma in May of 2013. Heroically, she was able to overcome this serious disease and is cancer-free today with no evidence of disease. Carolyn is admired for her attitude of bravery, happy personality, and always a positive outlook on life. She is a joy to teach and is a constant reminder of the importance of making the most of every day we have together. Carolyn successfully completed her kindergarten year, despite missing numerous days of school due to extensive cancer treatments, surgeries, scans, and doctor's appointments. Carolyn has endured and overcome health barriers that most children and adults have never experienced. She overcame all of the pain and suffering, physical struggles, and emotional hardships brought on by a very cruel disease. Barriers so overwhelming for her and her family that she can only be described as a hero. Along with her family and friends, she continues to inspire others and bring awareness to finding a cure for pediatric cancers through praying for Carolyn and rallying more than 4 Pensacola. So again, this is our student hero, Carolyn Hendricks.
Our next hero is Margaret Lee of Inslee Elementary. She will be presented by Counselor Rosito Ropsano Watson.
Good afternoon. It is always such a pleasure and honor to be to this event and to be able to give our babies roses while they're alive, to hear and to see the wonderful things and the wonderful people that they really are. I have a wonderful person to present to you. This is Margaret Lee. She was chosen because she is so filled with kindness. She's abounding in grace. She's very merciful, and she's so compassionate towards others. She loves her sister and her family. She reads to her sister every day, and her parents describe her as a young lady with lots of determination. She sets an example on how your reputation will precede you. Prior to her entering my school, I heard a lot about Margaret Lee and how wonderful and great, and you're going to be so happy to get Margaret Lee. So she came to our school, and then when I met with my safety patrol on Friday mornings, I said, well, who do y'all think we need to add to safety patrol? We need some new members. And everybody agreed, Margaret Lee. So I said, I got to go check out this Margaret Lee. So when I did, I noticed Margaret was very just quiet and very mild and meek. But then I learned a lesson from that. Don't ever let that fool you, because there's a lot of power behind that quietness. And this is what I found. Her teacher reports that since she joined Safety Patrol, Margaret encourages others. She reads now in front of the class. At one time, you could not get her to say a word. She uplifts and motivates the other members in the class, because they say, hey, if Margaret can do it, we certainly can do it. The most amazing thing that I see as a counselor is she may be quiet, but you can be powerful with your presence. And she's a young lady that when she enters a room, her presence speaks. And that she may not say a whole lot, but that power that she has is very encouraging to others. Students are in awe, and they constantly want to praise her, for every little thing. She has a kind face, she has kind eyes, and she has a kind smile. She has big dreams, and that's what I'm so proud of. Her goal is to complete high school and to attend college. She wants to study martial arts. That's her big interest. Then Margaret plans to travel to China and Japan. Now, is that a plan or what? Okay. So in closing, Margaret to me is she really fits in with one of my favorite quotes from Mother Teresa. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. I am honored to present to you our Inslee Cox Hero Award winner, Margaret Lee. Thank you.
Now, Danny Antrim, hero for Ernest Ward Middle School, will be presented by Renee Wilkins.
Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Ernest Ward's Inspirational Hero recipient, Michael Daniel Antrim. Danny is a jewel to all who know him. From the minute he entered the halls of Ernest Ward, he has held a special place in the heart of each of his teachers. Danny's life has not been an easy one, but his determination to be positive in spite of his setbacks has allowed him to share a smile that radiates the true spirit of innocence and joy. Danny is the most positive, courteous, and gracious student I have ever known. He never passes a teacher in the hall or stops by a classroom door without speaking a most cordial greeting and flashing that innocent smile. He is so thankful for everything that is done to help him. His reaction is always the same. Thank you. Thank you so much for helping me and for all you do. This is Danny's trademark. He also has a tremendous spirit of giving. At Christmas, he surprised every one of his teachers with personally made candles. His joy in pleasing others is unsurpassed. At the beginning of this school year, Danny's grandmother enrolled him at Ernest Ward. Although he knew no one, he walked into my first period class on the first day of school with his genuine smile and shared during our class introductions that he was really good with mechanical work and he loved animals. His favorites are his hen named Red and his duck named Sparky. Danny loves to write stories and share these stories about his pets. He is also a pretty good photographer and loves to share his pictures as well. Sometimes we even get pictures of the eggs that Red lays. Danny has overcome so many barriers in his short life. Within a 2-year period, Danny lost both of his parents, but he was welcomed along with his younger brother into the loving home of his grandmother. Not only has Danny had to deal with the loss of his parents, the move to a new home and new surroundings, a new school where every face was unfamiliar to him, he also has to deal with the issue of trying to learn new material that is often difficult for him. Although he struggles academically, he has never once uttered the words, "I can't do this, it's not fair," or "I don't understand." He just works as diligently as he can, doing what he is able to do. He never sits idly in class, and he never complains about anything he is asked to attempt. In his own way, he conquers each task very methodically and painstakingly, with much thought and determination. Although he is small in stature, he has a huge heart that is running over with kindness. Every day, he finds a reason to smile, to find good in others, and to bring joy to those who interact with him. He continues to develop a strong work ethic and a sense of responsibility as he cares for his pets each morning before school and every afternoon when he returns home. Danny has been placed in a situation that would overwhelm most children, as well as adults for that matter. He shared with me how proud his grandmother was of his mechanical talent. He often speaks with pride of how he works on the weed eaters and the lawnmowers around the house, and he does his chores every day. He takes pride in every job that he is given, both at school and at home, and completes each task to the best of his ability, always with that smile on his face that can never be ignored. We are so proud at Ernest Ward to have present to you Danny Antrim, our Cox Inspirational Hero.
Presenting our next hero, Casey Hurlston, is Escambia High School's Frank Murphy.
Good afternoon. I am Frank Murphy, and I am proud to be the principal at Escambia High School. And on behalf of the administration, the faculty, the staff, and of course our wonderful student body, it's my honor to introduce to you Casey Hurlston. Casey is a tremendous young lady who, by the way, would be considered the Michael Phelps of the Cox Hero Awards because this is her 3rd time to receive it. She's received it at elementary, middle school, and now at her high school. Congratulations, Casey. We didn't even know that until this afternoon, so congratulations. Casey has suffered a brain tumor at an early age, but not only that, but she had to relocate to Pensacola from the horrific Hurricane Katrina in the New Orleans area. She's an amazing young lady. She's a bright star at Escambia High School. She had to learn to use her left hand. She's learned Braille, and those two things in itself are a very difficult task. She's an amazing student. She always loves to help her classmates. Her teachers love her. Her classmates love her. Her principal loves her. She's just a wonderful young lady. She navigates our halls with ease. And I think I've seen her running down the hallway. No, I haven't. I haven't seen her running in the hallways. But she does a great job. Casey is truly an inspiration to all of us at Escambia. She's a true role model and a shining star for all of our students. And we congratulate Casey Hurlston.
Presenting our next hero, Gretchen Diedolf of Ferry Pass Elementary School, will be her homeroom teacher, Adam Clark.
I could not be more thankful to have the opportunity to teach Gretchen this year. She has genuinely inspired her classmates and teachers because of her relentlessly positive spirit, her incredible work ethic, and her quiet leadership that she brings to school each and every day. We have all enjoyed Gretchen's unique attention to detail because she is such a talented and witty writer. She does fantastic artwork for all of our class projects. She was one of our captains this year for the Science Olympiad team, and she has excelled as a soccer player on her club team. Gretchen has the rare ability to not take herself too seriously, and I can't tell you how much that helps the culture in a classroom. She can always be found making the most outrageous faces in the back of pictures, and it's those memories that I will always hold on to. Despite a tragic and personal loss in her family right before the school year started, Gretchen has worked so hard to be open and engaging through a situation that would have left so many adults closed off and hopeless. You are a beautiful young girl, and I admire you so much for how generous and brave you have been this entire year. Your family, your school, and I are incredibly proud to name you as our Cox hero.
Now, Shayla Griffin, hero for Ferry Pass Middle School, will be presented by Kimberly Warren.
Good afternoon. It is such an honor to present the Cox Hero for Ferry Pass Middle School. If you're looking for compassion, dedication, hard work, determination, then you found it. You found that and a whole lot more in Shayla Griffin. Shayla is one of the sweetest students that you would ever want to meet. She is very determined, and she always sees life as the glass half full, never empty. She's always working very hard to do her best in whatever she tries and attempts to do. When we solicited the nominations from our staff and students and our faculty, she got the overwhelming nominations to be selected for our school. Shayla, her brother, was recently diagnosed with cancer, but Shayla, being the compassionate child that she is, she told her parents, whatever it takes for the welfare of my brother, I want you all to do it. You put his needs first. That shows her compassion. She also struggles academically with math and reading. She was in double block reading. But because of her determination, Shayla's Lexile scores has went up 29 points, and she's on target with the rest of the sixth graders. So we want to congratulate her for that. She's also always willing to be a friend to those who need a friend. And also, she's always very appreciative in the conversations that she has with her teachers as well as her peers. We at Ferry Pass Middle School are honored and delighted to have Shayla Griffin represent our school as the 2016 Cox Inspirational Student Hero.
Our next hero is Gabriel Johnson of Global Learning Academy, and he will be presented by his teacher, Carmen Wallace.
Gabriel Johnson is a second grader at Global Learning Academy. He has been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, but cystic fibrosis does not have Gabriel. His love for learning and for his fellow students has brought a feeling of positivity that is unmatched and unlikely to be forgotten. My apologies, I didn't think I was going to get this emotional. Bear with me. Gabriel is often tired. However, you would have to be his mother, his teacher, or his doctor to know this. Gabriel pushes through many days with such ferocity that his attitude has become an inspiration to all of those who know his circumstances and to many who have no idea. He loves and excels in everything that he does, prompting many of us to believe that he will truly be a leader in the future. Because of this extensive time away from school for medical reasons, Gabriel's reading level when entering second grade was similar to that of a beginning first grader. However, his intense commitment to move forward with his peers has propelled Gabriel to maintain success alongside the top students in his class. Being the humble gentleman that he is, he balances great pride in his accomplishments with a self-determination for more and better work. Cystic fibrosis, unfortunately, is not just the beginning of Gabriel's medical issues. He was diagnosed for leukemia, and his doctors are strictly monitoring his eyesight. In the face of even more obstacles, Gabriel never falters. His intelligence allows him to understand the severity of his condition, but his inner strength keeps those issues from stopping him from learning, or more importantly, defining who he is. Because Gabriel is much more than his illness, he behaves like any other second grader with a lot to offer. He is quick to give assistance to students who are struggling, and consistently, he is the first one to volunteer to mentor any students when they arrive or when they need any type of assistance. No one envies Gabriel's health, but we all wish that our spirit and character were as perfect as his. It is my absolute honor to present to you Gabriel Johnson.
Here to present Jordan Maselli will be her teacher at Helen Caro Elementary, Kelty Barber.
I'd like to introduce you to Jordan Maselli. I met Jordan almost 2 years ago. At that time, she had only been in America less than 2 years. She was abandoned at birth in China and was adopted by an American couple. I met the family when they came for kindergarten screening just before school started. Jordan was so nervous that I allowed her parents to come into the classroom with me and with us to find out what she knew. When I showed her the letters of the alphabet and was asking her to tell me what they were, she didn't know any of them, and so she counted. So I thought, well, at least we can count to 26, but we've got a long way to go in reading. But Jordan is very persistent. Over the past 2 years, with the help of her parents, her ESOL teachers, her speech teacher, she's not only learned English, but she's learned to read. In fact, she's just about to make our accelerated reader brag wall at Helen Caro, which means that she will have read more than 90 kindergarten and first grade books. Jordan has overcome many barriers already. After spending 4 years and 7 months in an orphanage in China, when she came to America, she had to learn to trust, to adapt to family life, to a new language, and a new country. She was born with a cleft palate, and unfortunately, the initial surgery in China further complicated her condition. She's undergone surgeries in the United States and has had to learn to adjust to her speech accordingly. Jordan's also learned to comprehend the importance of future surgeries that she will undergo. She'll be undergoing various surgeries between now and the time she's 18. She's also reckoned with the question of why other children do not have to endure what she does. In spite of all this, Jordan loves cheerleading, dance, and she loves to be on stage. In fact, she had the funniest line in our play, Happy Healthy Me, and she'd like to share it with you.
My dad exercised by sitting on the couch.
Because Jordan knows how it feels to be treated as an outsider, she's very accepting of others. When new students come into our class, she takes them under her wing. Jordan befriends them and helps them get adjusted to the new environment. Jordan also stands up for children who are picked on or bullied. In summary, Jordan is a funny, friendly, social little girl who has a big heart. Although she's faced many challenges in her life already, Jordan continues to reach out to others with love and acceptance. And it is my honor to present to you Jordan Maselli.
Our next hero is Brandon Leverett of Home Elementary. Presenting will be Principal Deborah Simpkins.
Good afternoon. It is my honor at Home Elementary to present our Cox hero, Brandon Leverett. He probably is the most shocked of all of us here. When asked for nominations from our school, his fifth grade teachers ran to me quickly and said, put his name down, put his name down. And so we did. Then we submitted the names to our committee, and our committee decided that Mr. Leverett would be our Cox hero. And the reason for that is I've known this young man for a while. We have seen that he has honored our Dolphin Code. In our Dolphin Code, we say safety first, positive attitude, listen to others, always be respectful, show kindness and respect, and above all, honesty. This young man has grown to show such a positive attitude from the day I met him. And his teachers wanted him recognized for that. He has become focused on his learning and making great choices. He works hard and is determined to learn. He has made strides in that effort. His fifth grade teachers, they wanted to see him develop a positive personality, and he has allowed that to happen. Brandon has become a very productive group member and a positive classmate, even so that his classmates go straight to him and see him as a good role model. When asked to pick a team at school in anything that we do, Brandon is the team they want to be on. He has overcome the death of his grandmother, but he focuses his academics and has replaced the troubles and the discipline issues he's had in the past. Everyone knew the old Brandon, and they know the new Brandon. And we at Home Elementary just wanted to let you know that this is our Cox hero, Mr. Brandon Leverett.
Accompanying our next hero, Gary Lee Jr., is his teacher at Jim Allen Elementary, Kelly Mayberry.
Hi, this is Gary Lee. He is the kind one, the compassionate one, the accepting one, the funny one, the intelligent one, the sacrificial one, the son, the brother, and he's also a hero. Gary sees the world through eyes that search for ways to make it better. He has the tender heart of a true giver. Gary is a very bright child who has made both the A and AB honor roll all year. He's an avid reader and the first student to make 100 points in my class this year. He's also involved in special enrichment classes meant for those who excel academically. I've had the pleasure of teaching Gary both in first grade and in fifth grade. I remember when Gary came into class one day in first grade, and he was so excited because he was going to have a new baby brother, and they were going to name him George. And he said, and I quote, like Curious George. Gary loved his new little brother, and he was so proud of him. But a little over a year ago, George became sick and was diagnosed with aplastic anemia, and he would need special treatment and a bone marrow donor. Gary stepped up and he willingly gave his bone marrow, having to spend weeks at a time at Duke University Hospital while going through this painful process. Gary willingly shares his experiences with others, inspiring both courage and compassion. And he is Jim Allen Elementary's Cox Inspirational Hero.
Lakeview School Day Support's Marcia Stoniolo will introduce us to Elijah Truelove.
Elijah is a wonderful role model for students in our school setting. He pushes through his own challenges and goes out of his way to be a mentor and advocate for other students with disabilities. He consistently sets high personal goals and keeps a positive attitude even in the face of adversity. Since transitioning to our school, Elijah has displayed a tenacious work ethic academically and a high level of integrity with all staff and students. He has worked hard to develop coping skills and learn to effectively use them in a variety of settings, which has prepared him to transition to a traditional school next year. Elijah has frequently shared personal experiences and offered advice to peers during therapy and group, and in an effort to help them achieve their own goals. He has demonstrated insight, empathy, and compassion for students with a variety of significant disabilities. Elijah, thank you for being a tremendous example of how individuals can work through any challenge to be their best. It is my pleasure to present to you Lakeview School Day Support Cox Hero. May the 4th be with you.
Presenting Javion Hardy, hero of Lincoln Park Elementary School, will be his teacher, Alana Rowling.
Neuroblastoma is a childhood cancer that develops from immature nerve cells, and it's an unpredictable cancer. It can come and go. You don't know when it might show up. Javion has neuroblastoma. Javion is one of those kids that as soon as you meet him, you immediately fall in love with him. I'm gonna cry. Whether it's his smile, his goofy laugh, his infectious happiness, Javion has a way of making every day better. I'm sorry, Javion. His illness takes a tremendous toll on both him and his family, yet Javion's spirit continues to shine. I'm a first-year teacher, and Javion might have taken advantage of that. I forget a lot of things, but Javion always reminds me of stuff that I forget. He tells me not to worry. He promised me that everything will be okay. Before we go home every day, Javion gives me a hug, and he tells me that he loves me. Javion, I love you too. Javion is not only my hero, but he is Lincoln Park's Elementary Cox Hero of the Year. Thank you, Javion.
Haley Andrews is our hero from Lipscomb Elementary. Sheriff Welter will tell us why she is an inspiration.
Well, there's nothing like having to go up after you start crying over your previous presenter, and you're up here going, oh, okay, I'm fine now. Don't you just want to go and take on the world? Oh my gosh, our lives are so easy, and we have such a blessed existence. That when I hear these stories, I'm so inspired. My name is Sherry Welter, Sheriff officially, and I have the privilege of being Haley's teacher this year. Our committee selected Haley for a variety of reasons, but the most predominant one was because of her academic achievement. While it's true that Haley has had to overcome many difficulties physically, she too was born premature. She has nerve damage, stomach issues, and inability to monitor her body temperature. All of these things she copes with gracefully. But the biggest thing that she has overcome this year is her fear of her academics and of achieving and of growing as a person. Through hard work and determination, Haley has developed coping skills when she becomes nervous. She has developed a level of independence and confidence that should last her a lifetime. I told her as we were sitting there, this was the first award of many, I hoped. She has coupled this with an ability to be independent. She now is beginning her own work, completing her own work, reading books. She has made tremendous strides in her academics. One of the neatest things about being a teacher is watching your students get that moment in their lives when they finally go, I got this, I can do this. I can do this. And they grow and blossom and develop into a young person that can make a difference in their world, and that is what has occurred in Haley's life. Now, this is not the only reason why we selected Haley. Haley has a uncanny ability to understand people who are going through really difficult times. I often watch her when one of my other students is really struggling, and she has a patience and a compassion that is really awe-inspiring. So not only has she developed so much academically, but she's our cheerleader in our classroom, our encourager, and our support system. And that is why Haley Andrews is Lipscomb's hero. Thank you.
Hayden Plybon is Longleaf Elementary's hero. Principal Patty Thomas will tell us why.
Thank you. Hayden Plybon is a third grade student at Longleaf Elementary, and he was diagnosed with a heart condition this past year, so he and his family traveled to Gainesville in November for surgery. And they faced a great deal of apprehension as they were not really sure the extent of the surgery, how long the recovery would be, or what limitations he might face afterwards. So they stayed positive and just took one day at a time. He was able to return to Pensacola within several weeks and finally returned to school in January. Believe it or not, he was anxious to get back to school, to his classmates, and he worked really hard to get caught up on his classwork. So Hayden, with the support of his family, continues to stay active in Boy Scouts, in his church, and in school activities. But this family just is the kind of family that has a dark cloud and is going to keep looking for that silver lining. So that's what they have done. And they have now become the inspiration for other families in our community who have children with similar conditions, and they are working with an organization to provide support and encouragement, and with their inspiration, they have been an inspiration to us. So we are very, very proud of Hayden. We know that he has a bright future, and his hard work and his positive attitude are the reason he was selected for our Cox Hero this year. We are very proud of him. Thank you.
Presenting our next hero, Brandon Odom, will be Kristen Love, teacher at MacArthur Elementary.
Hi. Today I have the honor of telling you about one of the most amazing students, Brandon Odom. As educators, we are used to setting the example for our students, but today I'm going to tell you that Brandon sets the example for us. Brandon is kind and loves freely. He never meets a stranger and is warm and welcoming to all. Maya Angelou said, "Be the rainbow in someone else's cloud," and Brandon does this every day. He has a never-ending supply of smiles, hugs, and compliments that he gives to everyone he meets. He does not withhold love, but spreads it everywhere he goes. He knows no prejudice, no bias, but loves everyone equally without hesitation. Brandon is patient and understanding. He is always cooperative, always. He works hard every day, no matter what task is in front of him. Brandon has worked hard to overcome learning and communication struggles associated with autism spectrum disorder. Brandon loves talking. He loves talking with others, but struggles to communicate his thoughts and ideas clearly. Brandon remains patient and understanding, and he always allows and is willing to let adults help him rephrase things, and he will always repeat things when we need him to repeat things. Brandon continues to improve in this ability due to his desire and inner drive to be the best he can be. Brandon is generous and sensitive. He gives cheerfully and loves making and presenting gifts to others. Brandon never misses an opportunity to celebrate others or acknowledges special occasions, such as birthdays. Brandon gives kind words of love and encouragement throughout the day to everyone that comes in our room. He gives affirming words such as "I love you" or "good job" to everyone. He spends the majority of his free time every day making pictures or crafts to deliver to people in our school. He has a genuine care for the well-being of others around him, and he loves to share his gifts with others. Brandon faces struggles with courage and joy. In the recent tornadoes that moved through our area, Brandon's family lost their home. During this tragic and chaotic time, Brandon remained positive and continued to spread joy to others. The first day he returned to school, Brandon said, "We so grateful." He chose not to focus on the tragedy, but to focus instead on the blessing that he and his family were safe and unharmed. In all circumstances, Brandon has an internal happiness that radiates out and reaches everyone around him. Charles Dickens said, "There is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor. No matter what is going on, it is impossible not to be happy around Brandon. His smile lights up every room." As I stand here and describe Brandon to you, he is a student of good character, but he will one day be a man of great virtue. I can't help but think how wonderful the world might be if we were just a little bit more like Brandon. How much happier would we be and peaceful? Brandon is an example of how we should treat others, of how we should face difficulties in our life, and because of this, he is MacArthur Elementary's Cox Communication Hero.
Now, to Kayla Childs, hero of Molino Park Elementary School, will be presented by her teacher, Shayna Brown.
Kayla Childs is a 5th grade student at Molino Park Elementary. To say that she is a ray of sunshine is an understatement. There are truly not enough words to describe her positive outlook in the midst of any situation. With great wisdom and maturity, she has taken what could have been a difficult circumstance and used it as a catalyst to become a strong, intelligent, and generous girl who is constantly encouraging everyone around her. She uses her past experiences as a tool to encourage others to overcome obstacles of their own. There isn't a day that goes by that she does not enter the classroom with a smile on her face, ready to conquer anything in front of her. Her upbeat spirit inspires both students and teachers to persevere each and every day. There is no obstacle or task at hand that she cannot overcome. She puts her whole heart into every challenge throughout every day. Kayla has successfully maintained personal stability throughout difficult circumstances in her life. Her ability to focus and achieve above-average academic success is truly remarkable, and watching her pursue knowledge with such excitement brings joy to all of us who are blessed to teach her. This is why we have chosen her as our Cox Hero Student of the Year.
Next, Montclair Elementary's Mary Kent will introduce us to their hero.
This is my very handsome student, Kezias Lanier. Kezias is a 5th grade student at Montclair Elementary School. He is, you can't tell right now because he's not smiling. There we go. He is one of the happiest children in my entire classroom, and he encourages other students to be that way too, even when we're frustrated with our math or our reading, or we just really don't want to be at school today because it's raining and it's gross and we had to walk through the rain to get here. He is a light in my classroom. He encourages and coaches other students to appropriately deal with their feelings. Kezias, when he was younger, had severe burns all over his body, but it's not something he's ashamed of. It's something that he will show you all his scars. He will pull up his shirt in the middle of the class and be like, yeah, this one right here, that one. And you just wouldn't know that because he is the most encouraging student in my classroom. I am also a first-year teacher, and he told me I'm not allowed to cry. But whenever we're having days where I'm going to cry in front of the children, he goes, guys, get it together. You're gonna make her cry. And he just encourages everyone to do what they know is right. And I'm very proud of Kezias, and I can't wait to see all the wonderful things that he does as a man. That's it. Now you smile.
And presenting Jamarion Hampton of Myrtle Grove Elementary School will be Aurora Paul.
It's a pleasure to introduce Myrtle Grove's recipient of the Cox Cable Inspirational Hero Award. Our hero is a passionate young man whose goal is to make a difference. And despite his obstacles or challenges every day, he focuses on the positive. With that said, at the beginning of the school year, he shared his aspiration of being a Seminole at Florida State University. Go Noles. Being famous and rich. Although he would still like to be well known and have monetary resources to do what he would like as a grown-up, he has since changed his dream to being a heart surgeon. Unlike movie heroes, his heroism is not exemplified by his physique or his physical strength, but his inner strength to do what is right. He hungers for knowledge and eagerly shares in his class daily. The beauty of his heroism is the challenge he poses to me as his teacher, to challenge him daily, and he challenges me daily, to excel not only academically, but also personally. His favorite quote is a well-known superhero, Superman. Christopher Reeve once said, "A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." I asked him today why that was very important for him. He says, the words, I persevere, I overcome, I have strength, and I'm an individual. It is an honor to introduce to you my hero and my fourth grade student, Jamarian Hampton.
Our next hero is Sydney Abad of N.B. Cook Elementary School, and she will be presented by Mike Hayes.
Okay. Just to let you know how busy this day has been for Sydney, she started off the day doing a dance presentation to the 3rd to 5th grade at our school. Then went on to regular classroom activities. After classroom, at the end of the day of school, she went to practice her violin with the strings program under Jonathan Clark, and Jonathan has lots of wonderful things to say about Sydney's violin playing. At the beginning of the year, I was told I was going to have Sydney in my class, and that she had an auditory difficulty, and that she would need to have a speaker system in my room. I didn't think I needed it. Did I need it? No. I have a very loud voice, and Sydney took it in stride. I could not have expected a better student to have. She is constantly striving to do her best. She's an AB student constantly. She gives freely of her knowledge to other students. She will jump in and help at any given time, even if I don't ask. She can see students at her tables struggling, and she will jump in to help them. She is extremely sweet and generous with her time, and the greatest thing, you would think that, she may come up and ask me to explain something. She never misses a beat. She can explain things better than I can. She helps the whole 5th grade. She was on our safety patrol and did a wonderful job there, and I wish I had her energy. I'd like to present to you N.B. Cook's Cox Inspirational Hero, Miss Sydney Abad.
Now, Patricia Casper, teacher at Navy Point Elementary School, will present our next hero, David Levan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to introduce to you tonight a young man that I have the pleasure to call my student. David Levan is one of my 5th grade students at Navy Point Elementary. In my dealings with David, I've found him to be a hardworking, determined young man. He is creative and curious, and is an enthusiastic learner. David is also a thoughtful and kind student who is eager to help friends and teachers whenever necessary. David did not have the smoothest start to the beginning of this school year. By persevering, by taking 2 steps forward for every step back, he has been able to refocus his attention and concentration during school. David has put in a great deal of work to make learning gains this school year. He has shown growth in reading, math, and demonstrates a talent in science. David's love for hands-on discovery-based science activities has been particularly evident. Furthermore, David is one of the first individuals to jump in and help when a friend is in need. I can always count on him to volunteer to help a new student learn the ropes of Navy Point. I believe his efforts are best characterized by the saying, our success cannot be valued in how easily we pass through our good days, but how resilient we are on our tough days. In the face of adversity, David Levan has proven to be a determined young man. Like the legendary Phoenix, he has risen from the flames of adversity and demonstrated his unique capacity for personal growth. I feel he is most deserving of this great honor. Thank you, David, for all of your hard work this year.
Our next hero is Northview High School's Carly Ward. She will be accompanied by Natalie Knoll.
I'm sure I'm like every other teacher. You start your day off with looking at emails, seeing which ones you can delete, and then working your way. But when I saw the Cox Hero email, I'm like, stop, freeze. I know who my hero is. So that definitely had to be Northview's hero, and that's Carly Ward. Carly has faced many adversities in her life. Throughout these trials, Carly has managed to always keep a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She is such an inspiration to me and others. She has lost both parents and within a year, and she also helped her mother dealing with cancer. Carly has still been able to maintain her grades through all of that, and 2 jobs, and live basically like a teenager. You would not have known everything she had been through. I'm talking about I gotta look at my notes, but a 3.3 GPA, dual enrollment, ranked 35 in her class, and this is Take Stock in Children right here, scholarship award winner. She is definitely a hard worker. I don't know that many adults have lost both parents, and to be so strong and so determined with her life, never giving up. I have her in the weight room, I had her in track. This girl is awesome, she's going places. And I lost my place, but the tragedies that Carly has dealt with, she still maintains her strong Christian faith and that she shows to everyone. Carly is definitely a hero, and a hero is defined as someone who is admired for courage. Carly is the epitome of what is defined, and she is definitely Northview High School's Cox hero.
Presenting to our next hero, Ariana Cunningham, will be O.J. Sim Elementary Assistant Principal Cindy Stevens.
This is Ariana Cunningham, and if I had to choose one word to describe Ariana, it would be delightful. She is a teacher's dream student. Early in the school year, Ariana let her teacher know that she may be moving to another city. She was a little unsettled with the thought of moving, and especially the part about not knowing when that would actually happen. Throughout the year, she did not let the possible move interfere with her wonderful attitude. She is the go-to girl when her teacher and her classmates need help. She doesn't wait to be asked, she jumps right in there to help. Her teacher stated that she has never, ever seen as much as a twitch of a frown on Ariana's face. So let's see that pretty smile. She always has a smile, is always kind and considerate, and is a ray of sunshine in her classroom. Her teacher and classmates are very fortunate to have been able to share this year with Ariana, and they're thankful that the move to another city has waited until the end of the school year. I'm honored to present Ariana Cunningham as O.J. Sim Elementary Cox hero.
Accompanying our next hero, Joshua Smith, to the podium will be John Herber from Oakcrest Elementary School.
I know some people who don't succeed and make up excuses. I know some people who don't succeed and actually have excuses. And then there's Joshua Smith. Born with enough excuses to last anyone a lifetime. He sits in my class every day and succeeds. Succeeds in class, succeeds in after-school activities. And on behalf of your family in Oakcrest, I'd like to thank you because you do make my job a lot easier when you succeed and persevere and push through, so thank you. And on behalf of Oakcrest, we'd like to name Joshua Smith our Cox hero.
Our next hero, Lindsay Guyette of Pensacola High School, will be presented by Alyssa Simmons.
Lindsay Guyette is one of the most resilient young women I have met, and not only has she overcome obstacles at home, she has reached her senior year, successfully completing the Pensacola High School International Baccalaureate program. I met Lindsay 3 years ago when I started as the counselor of the IB program. She was a very shy and timid student that did not fully believe in her potential, and she soon learned that I did. As I learned more about Lindsay, I found that she never knew where her next meal may come from or where she may be staying that night. 3 years later, I have to say that Lindsay has found amazing support in two wonderful women, Frida and Jen, who willingly took her in and helped her reach her highest potential. I am proud to say that Lindsay will be attending Emory University in the fall with a full ride scholarship. And she plans to study neuroscience.
Presented to Reed Cochran of Pine Forest High School will be Principal Laura Touchstone.
It is with distinct honor and pleasure that I present the Cox Hero Award for Pine Forest High School to student Reed Cochran. Reed is a friendly, outgoing, and positive person. He gets along well with his peers and his teachers, and he loves to make people laugh. Reed's personal success includes overcoming academic, interpersonal, and developmental barriers to not only achieve but also excel. He was diagnosed early in life with cerebral palsy, which including delays in speech and language, motor skills, and autism spectrum disorder. Through hard work and determination, Reed has overcome these obstacles and now achieves his personal and academic goals. Reed is an inspiration to his peers and those around him. He truly represents what it means to be a Pine Forest Eagle and a Cox Hero. Reed Cochran.
Presenting our next hero, Matthew Turner of Pine Meadow Elementary, is his principal, Terry Fina.
Good evening. I'd like to present to you Matthew Turner, who was showing me his smile. Show it again. Thank you. Matthew is a fifth grader at Pine Meadow who has overcome many obstacles in his life that most of us would never see in our entire lifetimes. In spite of these obstacles in his personal life, he loves school and maintains high grades. He's the oldest of several siblings, and though he and his brothers don't always see eye to eye, we know that, they look to him for support and for his cheerleading. He told me a little bit ago that he was not a cheerleader, but he cheerleads for his brothers a lot. Yes, he does. Matthew has an amazing outlook on life and holds nothing back. He's a high achiever who wants to make sure everything is done and done correctly. He loves to help others and encourages others in class and encourages his brothers every day. Pine Meadow Elementary is proud to have Matthew Turner as our Cox Hero.
And now, cricket catcher and Lindy Eskew at Pleasant Grove Elementary will present Marquel Chisholm.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Marquel Chisholm, Pleasant Grove Elementary's Cox Hero. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to his teacher, Ms. Lindy Eskew, because she can do a far better job than I sharing their incredible story.
Ms. Casher's here for moral support. We're both really nervous. Marquel is a very sweet, kind, and respectful young man. He receives great support from his father, with whom he lives, and also his grandmother, who is a strong presence in his daily life. Although Marquel struggles academically, he truly works hard to overcome his obstacles. He's very positive and appreciates help with his assignments. He's always willing to help others, and many times other teachers come to me and tell me he's done things, opened doors, picked up things. He's always helping others. He's a genuinely happy student who has worked hard to overcome his inability to read easily. He tries very hard and does not give up. He has a strong desire to learn. He is repeating second grade this year, and although this can be very difficult for most students, he does not let this discourage his desire to learn and succeed. He's focused on the necessary skills and become more determined to overcome his obstacles to learn to read. He entered my class this year reading below grade level. He's worked so hard, and through his own determination and willingness to learn, he's beginning to overcome these barriers, and he's now reading successfully on a second grade level. Marquel's excited when he learns and understands math concepts. He's so good at math, and he loves to help others. He knows how it feels to struggle and not to understand, so he's always willing to help others understand. I have fought very hard for Marquel this year, and I'm very proud of his accomplishment. He is our Cox Hero.
Accompanying our next hero, Taya Clark, will be Brent Brummett from Ransom Middle School.
I thought I'd take a minute while Taya's making her way here because this means a lot to me. I don't know if you know this, but Miss Malasides, the Director of Elementary Education, Miss Lisa Morgan, the director of high school, Miss Gabowski. They're all three here today supporting our students and our schools and our administration, so I'm really proud of that. So I wanted to mention that, if we could give them a round of applause. I try hard to embarrass Taya. She tells me all the time, I try to tell her things I'm going to do, and she says, "I'm used to you, Mr. Brummett. You can't embarrass me." Taya Clark is Ransom Middle School's Cox hero. We are so proud of her. Doesn't she look absolutely beautiful this evening? Taya is positive, she's highly motivated, she's a conscientious student. More than that, she is a leader in the school and in the community. Taya is a member of our National Honor Society, and just today, I was told that she turned in her volunteer hours, and she donated 51 hours of her time to the community. So we're very proud of her. In December, Taya was the guest speaker at the ARC Gateway's Wreaths of Joy event. She spoke to a crowd of nearly 1,000 people and raised $70,000 at that event. She recently spoke at the Canine Companions for Independence and there raised $21,000. We're going to have her speak at our fundraiser in the fall. At Ransom, she speaks to her classmates and students, answers questions, and has that positive message that she encourages everyone to achieve their own goals and dreams. This is what her teachers wrote. With a contagious smile and a joy-filled laugh, she makes her way through the classrooms and halls of Ransom Middle School, enlightening and lifting our hearts. We are so proud, I am personally proud, to have Taya Clark as Ransom Middle School's Cox hero.
Heights Elementary School has two heroes today, sisters Karis and Winter Snell. Jennifer Etheridge will tell us why they are inspirational.
I am here to present our Cox heroes for the year, and it is Karis and Winter Snell. 2 years ago, Karis and Winter's dad lost his long and courageous battle to cancer. I can remember the Christmas before asking Karis what she wanted for Christmas, as I do most of the children. Her response, "For my dad to get better." This is just one example of the selfless spirit that both of these girls possess. Through one of the most trying times that any of us can ever experience, they have been a true example of grace and perseverance. Despite the raw pain of just having lost their father, both girls spoke beautiful words at his funeral, a difficult task for even an adult to accomplish at such a trying time. They have been a shining light at our school, participating in the gifted class, making good grades, and arriving each day with a contagious and beautiful smile. Unfortunately, at Scenic Heights, we have a large group of students who have recently experienced the loss of a parent. Karis and Winter have participated in several of my grief and loss groups, supported these students, and have been a shining example of hope. There is not enough time for me to be able to truly explain how incredible these two young ladies are. But trust me when I say, there is no one else more worthy or deserving of this award. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our recipients of the Cox Hero Award, Karis and Winter Snell.
Our next hero is Tatum Savage. He will be presented by his teacher at Sherwood Elementary, Lionel Robertson.
Perseverance is defined as steadfastness in doing something despite difficulty or delay in reaching success. This word sums up the personality and character of Tatum Savage. Tatum is one of my hardest working fourth graders. He has come in each morning with a smile on his face, ready to learn. When his class job was that of greeter, he fulfilled the task with a vengeance. No one got past him without a handshake and an exuberant good morning. When he is not greeter, he still has a cheerful or gently teasing greeting for each of the students as they enter our room. Recently, Tatum experienced the great loss of a loved one. He is learning to deal with emotions that most adults would struggle to deal with. During this time, he has consistently arrived at school each morning with an optimistic and determined attitude. Sometimes our days don't always go as well as we have planned, but he continues to work through his issues to the end of the day and end his day on a positive note. Beneath Tatum's tough exterior, he has a kind and thoughtful heart. He checks our tadpoles to make sure they've survived the night and adds something to our snack bowl every morning. He recently discovered a nest of baby birds close to where he lives, and he has appointed himself their guardian. Last week, we were tie-dyeing t-shirts for our class field day, and Tatum brought extra so that no one would have to go without. Though at times he struggles academically, he is attentive, inquisitive, and diligent in regard to his studies. Once started on an assignment, he works with a focus that is a pleasure to see. He is quick to share and always outgoing and friendly. Tatum takes responsibilities for his actions, and he expects the same of others. Through his membership in our exclusive group Mission 21, he is putting into practice as often as he can their motto of think twice before speaking once. He's beginning to recognize what his stressors are, and he takes great steps to deal with them without adult intervention. He is learning to put into acceptable words thoughts and feelings that are difficult to express. In conclusion, Tatum brightens my day just by walking through my door. His quick wit and engaging personality make him an asset to the classroom and also make Sherwood Elementary a better place to be.
Our hero from Tate High School is next to the stage. Here to introduce Austin Wright is Alana Johns.
Austin has been in my class the last 4 years. He came to Tate from moving from out of state. He struggled with academic, personal, and social deficits, as many people on the autism spectrum do. He has put forth great effort into making reading achievements, excelling at his math. He excels at sports. He is involved in the community, and he's become a leader in our classroom. He shows great compassion and empathy towards his peers as well as the adults. Everyone's a little envious that I get to spend so much of my day with Austin. He is truly going to be missed this year when he graduates. Like most of us adults, he is looking forward to retirement. He promises he will come back and visit us, but he doesn't want us to cry for him. So I am honored to present our Cox hero, Austin Wright.
Now, Marietta McCaskill from Warrington Middle School will present to our next hero, Tiana Jose.
I'm Marietta McCaskill, the behavior coach at Warrington Middle. Tiana was born in the spring of 2003 to her loving parents, Curtis and Rita Ann Jose, the youngest of 5 children and the baby of the family, an energetic, athletic child who loved biking and dancing and going to the park. But on September 13th in 2011, her life changed drastically when God called her mother home after a long battle with cancer. The loss was devastating to Tiana and to her family, but very slowly, with their faith, some degree of normalcy was achieved. However, sometimes lightning strikes twice. Tiana underwent emergency surgery for medulloblastoma, a tumor of the cerebellum, which affects her motor skills. Shortly after, she endured many months of chemotherapy and radiation, and that's when she entered Warrington Middle. She came to us last year as a 6th grader, attending school for half a day, very weak, but yet always smiling, wanting to be at school. She had the privilege of being pushed around and having an entourage, and she earned the name Princess. So everybody knows her as Princess around the school. This year, she came back to school stronger. We started off the year with only half a day in the wheelchair. Now we're up to all day in our walker, walking around, and at times, the mean behavior coach takes away the walker and we walk the halls, practicing the stairs and walking around campus. As she has grown and gotten stronger this year, Tiana has also shown us her fiery, sassy, funny attitude that she has in school, always making us smile and laugh. She's an inspiration to everybody. And when it came up for the Cox Cable Hero, Even the 8th grade teachers know who Tiana is, and she was a unanimous decision at our school. I present to you Tiana Jose, Warrington Middle's Cox Inspirational Hero.
Thank you, Daddy.
Presenting to Washington High School's William Anderson will be his counselor, Cheryl Reeves.
The phrase "in spite of" is defined as going around or making it work no matter what happens. That must be William Anderson's life's motto. In spite of being diagnosed with cancer and having to stay at home a whole semester, he returned to school the next semester, taking honors and dual enrollment classes, and not just taking them, but excelling in them. In spite of, William did not allow this to cheat him of his favorite pastime, being a member of the Washington High School marching band. Not only was he a member, but he was selected as sectional leader. In spite of, William has a bright future. He is a positive student. And most of all, he has allowed me to be an honorary member of his family. We are so proud of William at Booker T. Washington High School. In spite of this year, he will graduate as an honor student. And in spite of, his future is bright because in the fall, he will be here on the campus of the University of West Florida. So I am very proud to represent the family of Booker T. Washington High School in selecting William Anderson as our inspirational hero.
Our next hero is Mariana Dees of Weiss Elementary, and she will be presented by Michelle Anderson and Stephanie Guerin.
We would like to present to you Mariana Dees. Mariana is a delightful, beautiful kindergarten student. She is friendly to all that she meets and is helpful to her peers in the classroom. Mariana entered school significantly behind her peers, but since August has made significant gains in all areas of development, academically, socially, and in her motor skills. Every day she amazes her teachers, us, by her determination to succeed in all tasks that are presented to her.
Mariana, our little princess, loves coming to school. She is a ray of sunshine the moment she enters the door. She is inquisitive and consistently strives to learn new concepts. She has a caring attitude toward others and always welcomes peers to engage in play activities. She shares materials with others and displays a positive attitude about school every day. Mariana loves meeting and greeting new people and has a smile that is charming. She is determined and persistent, and even though tasks in the classroom are challenging, she has the desire to succeed. She has learned to write her name, count objects, write numerals, and is learning to read grade-level words. Mariana continues to strive to do her best, make learning gains in school, and has a friendly, outgoing personality. And Mariana is our C.A. Weiss Community School hero, and she's a hero in our classroom. Her enthusiastic attitude is contagious.
Our next hero is Tamia Hall. She will be presented by West Florida High School Principal Sheena Payne.
Good evening again. I gave her my word just now that I would not make her cry. So we have an appointment in my office tomorrow. We will cry together. It is with great honor that I introduce to you Ms. Tamia Hall. Tamia was nominated vigorously by her Spanish teacher, and by the rest, of course, we could do nothing but agree because of who she is. And her Spanish teacher is here tonight. Mrs. Ramos describes Tamia as a gifted and dedicated student in her classroom who has been an inspiration to both her peers and to her teachers as well. She has courage, she has dedication, she is determined. Tamia does not allow anything to stand in her way of achieving her goals. She's not only intelligent, but she has the ability to succeed, and she has the character to maintain that success. She's a hard worker, and she's an AB honor roll student that was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, along with a handful of other disorders or challenges, as we like to call them, that cause her a great deal of pain from time to time. Another one of her teachers has stated that medical issues that could have caused her to give up have not, and I feel it will never get the best of her. She faces her medical issues head on with the wind not in her face, but behind her back. Her teacher went on to say, when Tamia enters the classroom, she brings sunshine with her. The beautiful smile on her face and kindness in her eyes are a bright spot in anyone's day. As her principal and one who is very glad when she enters the office every day, every other day, to give you a hug or just say hi. She sees you 50 times, she's going to speak 50 times. And that does my heart glad. It is with great privilege, great honor, and great humbleness we are so proud of you. West Florida High School's Cox Inspirational Hero and my hero, Tamia Hall.
Thanks for watching the Cox Inspirational Student Heroes Award celebration. From all of us at Cox, thanks for watching.